Hey, third and seventh hour FST, welcome to week 6. Let's just start right away and kind of jump and look at the calendar for week 6. In this week, we are actually going to wrap up chapter 7. So you all have class on Wednesday and Friday of this week. Wednesday is actually a short assignment. It's just a Kahoot game I want you to play. It probably will not take you more than 30 minutes. So please play that and upload the screen. The nice thing about this being a short day on Wednesday, I know section 7.6 takes a little bit more time. So if you still had work to do on that, I would highly recommend to try to get that wrapped up on Wednesday too. Friday then is when we kick off your chapter 7 final assessment. This is kind of like a mini project, but is something that can reasonably be done within the deadline. Your official deadline for this Friday assessment is going to be Tuesday the 12th at 9 a.m. Anything coming in after 9 a.m. on Tuesday the 12th can only earn up to 60%. So please make sure to get that in on time if you can. Also, I will no longer accept any chapter 7 homework after Tuesday at 9 a.m. So get caught up on the homework for those points. Let's actually go take a look at the assessment here. I'm going to go into the folder, and what this is you're actually just going to be assessed on 4 of the 6 sections. So if I scroll down here, again, all the deadlines are nicely posted. This is just covering sections 1 through 4. So section 5 on complex numbers, in section 6 covering factoring to get complex answers through long division is not covered in here. And what I really want to do is just get you some practice on those first 4 sections, but have it be personalized to who you are. So you all are going to have slightly different numbers. So no one in theory is going to probably have the exact same answers. If you pull up this PDF, it's going to explain what is expected of you. This is a 1.5-page document. Plus, I also have a 14-minute video of me walking through an example for myself so you can see how you can go about doing it. Let's just read this first. What you're going to do is do a personalized polynomial using your own monogram. It's worth 1,000 formative points, so that's roughly 2 days of homework. And what we need to do is we're going to make a 4th degree polynomial. So a 4th degree polynomial, we need 4 numbers. Again, on my video, I'm going to walk through my monogram. And a monogram is really just your initials of your first, middle, and last name. So my monogram is NLN. And then what I'm going to do is go down here and convert those letters into numbers, because for math, I went through quantitative numbers. So that's going to get me 3 numbers for my monogram. The 4th number I'm going to get is which hour I'm in my 3rd, 4th, or 7th hour. So for you all, obviously the hour you pick you're in is your hour. So that's where you're going to get your 4 numbers. And then there's going to be 7 things I want you to do with those numbers. Again, my video will walk through it. The first thing is to create your own personalized monogram. There's a lot of artsy people out there. If you want to make a monogram by hand on paper, that's awesome. Go for it. If you don't, I found a really kind of a clever monogram maker, so feel free to use that. Of the 1,000 points, that's 100 points just right there. Step 2, you're going to take those 4 numbers that you created for your own initials, and you're going to create an equation in factored format and then define this vocabulary of the zeros and their multiplicity. That's 100 points. The third thing is you're now going to take that factored format and convert it to standard format for 100 points. And then once it's in standard format for another 100 points, define these 3 vocabulary terms. The 4th one is a great check. You're going to want to graph out what the equation you had in part 2 and in part 3. If they're not the same graphs, that means your math in part 3 was actually wrong. So double check your math. Once the graphs are the same, then actually sketch that graph. Give me a picture of it, label your axes, read all these details. And then I want you to identify the key points on this graph, like x-intercepts, y-intercepts, and zeros, and label them with letters. I think when you watch the video, this part will make more sense. Just giving me a good graph with things labeled properly is another 100 points. After all of those letters have been labeled, now step 5 is go in and using vocab to find these intervals for these 6 different vocabulary words that you learned within the chapter, increasing, decreasing, and so forth. That is worth 200 points. Step 6 for 100 points is using the differences theorem. You need to use the differences theorem and prove to me that you have a 4th degree polynomial. So what you do is once you have your graph in your calculator, you go to the table and you get the ordered table, write that down, and you do the differences theorem. You should show that you end up getting a 4th degree polynomial doing the proper algebra on that. The last thing is long division. Your polynomial equation is made up of the 3 letters from your monogram and your class hour. What I want you to do now is to do long division and long divide out your class hours factor. When you do that, you're going to be left with a polynomial of just your monogram, and that's 100 points showing you can do long division. The last 100 points for this is just the presentation. Make sure you have everything stated in steps 1 through 7. Is it organized? Can I follow all of your work? Is all of your vocabulary there? Again, your deadline is going to be for your hours Tuesday at 9 a.m. on May 12th, along with all of the Chapter 7 homework. The other thing I do want to mention is let's briefly look at Chapter 9, just so you know what to expect. This Chapter 7 assessment is really the last big assessment you're going to have. For Chapter 9, we're just going to have 2 quizzes, and then we're going to call it done. So if we take a look at it, your Chapter 9 does start this week of May 12th for you all. And then you have your first blue puzzle piece quiz here on the 18th for sections 1, 2, and 3 of Chapter 9 on logarithms. Do the multiple choice and then the blue puzzle piece. Then we're going to go over 3 more sections, 4, 5, and 6. And then your last official learning day here is then be on May 29th on the Friday. You're going to have your second blue puzzle piece quiz on sections 4, 5, and 6, along with the green multiple choice. And then we're done. Technically, school doesn't end until June 2nd, so you do have a little more time to get that done. But if you want to, if you're on pace, you can wrap up and call FST done after you take that last blue puzzle piece quiz on May 29th. So please let me know as you start working on your project, or if you see what's coming ahead. If you have any specific questions, shoot me an email and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have. And have yourself a good week.